Leo, welcome to your energy check-in. As you guys know, these readings are timeless and signless, and you know that you don't have to have any Leo placements in your chart at all, as long as you resonate with the title, and as you listen, you can experience the story as being yours, then this is for you. Of course, I welcome you to have a personal reading with me. Ooh, looks like you guys are taking a step back right now to do some healing work. Love it, love it. Okay, let's delve into that. So yes, once again, please know you can reach out to me. I do offer readings starting at $20 and moving all the way up to close to $300. Whatever you need, come check it out, see if it's for you. And if you enjoyed this video, please do feel free and go ahead and give it a like, just so I can know what the impact is, okay? All right, Leo, your story is not over yet. What is this? There you go. Your story is not over yet. Whatever it is that's going on with you, I do see that it feels like you've been taking a step down. Some of you may be taking a step back from any music or any kind of creation that you're doing, especially music, some form of creativity. You're taking a step back, and I do feel that Spirit is asking you to go back and revisit. Oh, you want to stay there? Oh, excuse me. To go back and revisit whatever it is that you have been doing, or some type of knowledge that you thought you knew. And it's not to say that you're going to be asked to take a step back and completely change your ideology or anything. Instead, it's about you going back, taking a look at the knowledge that you have, or the information that you have, or the ideas that you've created. But there's this idea that this is something that you received. So it could be some type of information that you learned or that you thought was the truth. It's about taking a step back, looking at that information and weeding things out. No, you know what? Weeding isn't even the right word. It's tweaking. Now, how do you tweak this information? It's pretty simple. It's straightforward the way it's coming for you, Leo. It's that you would do it by looking at where or what the real foundation is for that information. So it's like, okay, I heard this, I received it, I gathered the information, I did whatever. But how much of this 2 minutes and 22 seconds on this call, how much of this was actually legitimate? So this is about looking for the accuracy of something. Now, I do notice that the trust in the plan card is there at the bottom here, controlling this reading just for this moment, to show that some of you may consider it taking a step back, especially if you've been asked to take a time out from something or to tear up a contract or some type of situation. But this is about, and when I say contract, I mean divine contract. A divine contract could have manifested as a relationship or a real estate situation, or some type of lease, or just something like that. You know, a contract is basically an agreement. So some of you may be thinking, oh man, I've had to let go of this or release it or whatnot. And again, I just feel that, yeah, if you did have to step back and release somebody, like actually you've broken up now or just whatever, please look at it at a deeper level. You're looking at the veracity of the facts, quote unquote, that you, upon which you built a lot of your, I'll go ahead and say premises. You would think that, okay, well, no, you're looking at the premises upon which you built your conclusions, but actually no, you're going and you're looking even deeper. So you're looking at just whatever to see where you got these initial premises from. Premises, premise, plural, from, okay? So this is looking like some deep structural work, and this is kind of giving me vibes like the Cancer reading so far. Remember, it need not be, but the Cancer reading so far, in the sense where there's this stepping back. Some of you are actually being recalled to step back in time and revisit some type of connections that you had in the past. Now, how could that manifest for you? It could manifest simply as running into somebody from high school, or reconnecting with somebody who had something to do with you in your life. For some of you, for somebody here, this person may be a friend of your father's, right? So maybe a friend of your father, maybe he sells cars or something like that, and there's some type of lesson that you need to revisit, some type of information that you're going to see in a new light, like, oh, okay, So that's what this information means. Okay, well, I was kind of wrong. I was completely wrong in the way I was interpreting it. But for others of you, when we talk about needing to revisit the past and make a reconnection in the past or something like that, it's not necessarily about meeting up with somebody. It could simply be a matter of looking at your past and your childhood and your karmic patterns. So that could be all, all of the above. So this is what I'm getting for you guys so far. I do feel that I'm getting the name Shirley or Sherry. Okay, need not be anybody's name in particular, but it could be a word that is then used by spirit later to cue your attention, right? But either way, that word is coming through. And I'm also getting, maybe related to this name or may not be, this idea that somebody here is 60, right? So there's this somebody here who is advanced in age, but they feel very over the hill, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm starting so late, or oh my gosh, how could I be so late in the game and then have to take a step back? And please trust me that you shouldn't look at it that way, and that's a really hard thing to say because it falls flat no matter what, falls flat. But please do choose to see it that way, because let's put it this way: if you don't take care of these things in this lifetime, guess what's happening next lifetime? So either way, everybody, you're ahead of the curve. Anytime you have to take a step back, you're still ahead of the curve because you're still working on it, and God is good. You still have the idea to work on it. Now let's take a look at this pattern that's happening here. A lot of you will be initiated into this process by feeling discomfort. Now, let's talk about discomfort. The discomfort, not necessarily getting a tower moment, or some major thing that causes you to get on this path, although it could be. In fact, for some of you, it could be a quiet realization. You look at somebody, you look at their life, and it gets you to thinking about your own, and it leads you to do some inquiry. Whatever it is, you're going to start looking deep inside, and it's going to, or reconnecting with somebody. Yeah, there it is, reconnecting with somebody that kind of gets you to do this process and to revisit. But remember, first it starts on the Spirit is saying the elementary level for somebody, right? But first it starts on the alchemical level, and then in the physical, the events in life orient themselves for you to play out this experience and to have this the word opus is what's coming to mind. So that's for somebody. We did talk about music earlier, right? But to have this awareness built up, and so that's where we're seeing the invitation to connect to the past, either through somebody or through yourself. But either way, you will be meeting people who help you along this journey. But look at how it's like poof, this connection, this moment of meeting and awareness, and look, it just then implodes a bit, and what's left is the knowledge. That's the awareness that's come from it. So Spirit is actually saying this is a process that you have to trust. And this process, what is it doing? No wonder it wanted to stay here. This is a process of discernment. This is a process of pruning. This is a process of culling. Now, why I say it that way, and if you look at those two cards to the upper right of or the middle right of the screen, you'll see that in the left card, it's the number 22. It says initiation by fire. But what I'm actually drawn to is the fact that this lovely person is so surrounded by light and shielding. Look at that. We see this. There's nothing here. And then with this this connection, or this re-engagement with the self, we see the formation starting, and then boom, what happens is we have that orb. It was always in the plans, right? And then here, that's what the process is. It's bringing you into balance, and it's also about pruning and culling. And so we know that because you're keeping what works and releasing the rest, and that's what we see right there. Okay, let's go ahead and see what's up there. Yeah, and then I do see this. So this is showing a contract of some sort, but I want to put it right here because Spirit is coming, because you see right underneath is healing, right? So we're never getting away from this concept of healing, but I'm brought to this card there, and in fact it says earth healing. So it's very much a healing message that's going on here. And you guys know, when Spirit says healing, we don't mean a walk in a park. It means experiencing things that get you to a place where you reevaluate what it is that you know and believed, or not know, because God knows. A Course in Miracles teaches us we don't know anything. We think we know, but we don't, right? So it gets us to reevaluate what it is that we're believing, looking at our system, and from that place, restructuring our world and our awareness. Our awareness is built. Our world is based on our beliefs, which are based on our awareness. All right. So this is what healing is when Spirit talks about it. Now take a look at that card there. Of course, the first thing you want to say is, "Oh my gosh, does this have to do with a relationship? Is something coming out with a relationship?" Spirit is coming in to draw your attention to the card and what it says. 38. That's 11. Alignment, but it also says earth healing. So they're saying that anything, of course we see the contract, but they want to broaden that concept of relationships to include everybody. Now, when they say that, because I know some of you, I can feel some of you like, oh, when are we going to get to the part about so-and-so? Is he my person? Is she my person? Or what's going on? Or actually with this crowd, whoever I'm attracting with this video, I can feel that your energies are deeper into inquiry. So you may not just stop at like, is this my person? No, it's more like, what is this person's role in my life? What is this person's purpose in my life? And I do want to let you know, yay, Janelle plug, I do offer a soul contracts reading, in which you can look at up to 3 people within that reading to look at the soul contracts that you have and the themes that you share with these people and what you're designed to learn. Okay, so check that out if you'd like soul contracts reading. But that being said, here they're highlighting this relationship with people because guess what? The people are stand-ins, God bless them, they're stand-ins for what it is that we would like to engage in. So what are we engaging in? We're engaging in energy. And when we're engaging in this energy, what is that really? We're engaging in a certain experience that we want to have. And that is why when, and it sounds a little bit controversial, I get it, from a bottom-up perspective, from a top-down perspective, it doesn't. That's when we start getting into the realm of agency. Like, oh, someone's like, well, actually, you stayed in this relationship as much as you can't see it because your soul or your spirit has chosen to have that experience. So, and sometimes even a therapist will say, well, why is it that you are choosing to, and a lot of people will get triggered by this word choice, because sometimes we're just not in a position to access the choice aspect, the agency behind what it is that we do. Why? Because we're still so much stuck in the experience, the emotional experience of it. And if you add ideas of victimhood and all sorts of stuff, it kind of temporarily blinds us to seeing how it is that we actively play a role in the processes that we engage in. And that's just even looking at this level, right? But when you go higher up and you look at soul contracts and you understand that things are not always by choice per se, but sometimes you agreed at that upper level to, at this level, undergo or play a role where the choice is already made. So down here, we would say that is not a moment of free will, because from a free will moment way at a higher level, that decision has already been made. But down here, sometimes you can have those moments where the free will is just not there because you just have to experience something, play it out, fulfill that role so other things can be in motion. And then there are moments down here where there is free will, right? So anyway, hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but I just wanted to touch a little bit upon that concept of agency and how it differs. And just to make it a little bit more accessible, I always bring up the book, our book series, you guys, you know, we love it, Choose Your Own Adventure, the Choose Your Own Adventure books, CYOA, shout out. We love them. Why? Because finally we get to be the character in the book, so much so that when the book is written, it's written in a second person perspective. So in the book, you'll see you do this and you do that. And then you're asked to make a choice. Very simply, you and your father. I always use the same example. You and your father at a museum. Your father is the curator, right? And you're spending the day with him. And somebody comes in and asks to speak with him. And your dad says, hey, little one, you, the reader, hey, you stay here and wait for me. I'm just going to take this conversation. I'll be back in 20 minutes. And then the dad leaves. And then here you are. And you start to see something out of the corner of your eyes behind the desk or the shelf or the artwork or whatever. And then at the bottom of the page, you're given a choice. Do you investigate it, or do you stay and wait for your father? Either way, you're going to choose a page that corresponds to those choices. If you choose to stay and wait for your father, turn to page 2. If you choose to investigate, turn to page 11. And so each, the character will have a different outcome. I almost said demise. Sometimes there is demise. No, but you'll have the character, the reader, will have a different experience and a different set of choices and a different outcome based on the choices that you make throughout the book. And so that, I think, is such a great example based on my current understanding of free will, as to how it is that we walk through this earth. Sometimes the points in our lives where we think our choices are actually not. That's just where, you're on the page and you're being given all these events, and then at the bottom you make a choice, but this is not a moment for choice. You're just experiencing it, and you give yourself a lot of grief for some of the stuff that you do, thinking that it was a free will choice. But it wasn't, not at this level. At a higher level, yes, it was. Your soul wanted to have an experience, and so that happened. And then there are other times, a lot of times, and we know this, where we didn't know we had a choice. We're like, no, I didn't have a choice. And so I just went with it, and I did the best I could. And actually, at this level, you did have some choices. And in that sense, it's about needing to control your mood, needing to do your best to reach out and look at the options that you have available, and to hope, because hope changes you in the mood, changes your mood and your energetic frequency. Same with gratitude, and that pulls towards you different experiences that you can have, leading to different choices. And so, long story short, what we're talking about up here is that when we come down to earth, it's all about relationships. It's all about relationships. It's all about choices. But sometimes you think you're making a choice and you're actually not. All right. So at this point, I love how Spirit presented that, because a lot of us are in this place in our lives where we kind of just keep going from one relationship to the other, be it romantic or not. Could be just a relationship with your bus driver that you see on your route all the time. But we fail to glean the significance of those connections. And so one of the best things that we can do moving forward, my dear Leo, is to look at the role of the people in our lives, not to assign blame, not to push and project your emotions onto and all of that, but instead to look at, hey, what is my story about this person in my life, and how can I see this person as really being a reflection of me? And how can I work on what's going on inside of me, so that this person, who's merely a projected upon image, so that this person can show up to me and my mindset in a different way. And that's how we transform connection. So Spirit so far is talking about this healing that we're going through, this process. And it's almost like here they're giving you tips for how to work with whoever or whatever it is that you're going to be encountering along this process of awakening and awareness for you. But at the end of the day, that's all we're doing over and over and over and over again on this planet. Having experiences and hopefully understanding what the whole point was. And if you're not doing the work around it, if you're just having it and then at the end of the day you're kind of just like, oh, well, that didn't work out, I'll try something better next time, or you're avoiding it altogether, right? You have to do the analysis for it in order to transform it. Otherwise, you're going to attract the same type of person. Look at the next card that comes out. The Pink Rose of Lady Nada. Interesting, because this is usually the romance card, but what I'm getting here is Spirit is saying, where do you want this? Hold on. Spirit, this is actually coming through with a newspaper superimposed upon it. So this is telling me that a lot of you guys are receiving news through romantic connections in your life. Now, I do see here that for some of you, the romantic connections are not connecting, so to speak. So you may be of the mindset that I'm just going through a lot of misses, not hits, misses with these connections, unrequited love, miscommunications, all of that. And so some of you, they're saying, maybe wondering, well, what is it that I could actually learn from that? What am I learning? And now we're entering into the pain body that I'm feeling for some of you on this call. We're entering into the pain body, and you're like, what is the point of having those connections? What am I learning? What am I learning from being rejected over and over and over again? Another one I'm getting from some of you here, what am I learning from not being taken seriously, from being minimized in these connections? I do see that someone here has an inter-religious conflict with someone that they are feeling. It's almost like you're in a connection, but it's, notice my hands going here. I would love to say connection here, but the connection just isn't there. So you do come across as possibly even being married, an older individual, possibly with another older individual, possibly being married, but you're very estranged from this person. I do feel that you have religious conflicts. Maybe one of you feels very Roman Catholic, and another one of you may feel more agnostic, or just outright atheistic, or just someone who doesn't give much thought to the religious realm, or the something like that. But Spirit is saying here that looking at these kinds of inquiries that boil down to, well, why am I being made to suffer? What is the use in that? I'm not getting anything out of this, right? Spirit is saying that you are getting something out of it, and possibly what is being gleaned, and hopefully gleaned, but what is being given unto you is the ability to arrive at an awareness. But you must do the inquiry, of course, right? So I love that you're asking that question. First of all, what am I getting out of this? I just feel like I'm suffering. But then stop and look. What is the story about this person that I'm with? This person makes me feel like a loser. This person never listens to me. They always talk over me. This person has been with other people. This person, I wasted the best years of my life on this person. This person was just like my father or my mother. And it goes on. Write all of that down, right? And then as you do that, you start to really turn the gaze inward, separate this person from the body of information you have just put down, the story, let's put it. And then you really turn inward and you ask yourself, is it possible, even just a little bit, is it possible in one small way that I'm actually showing up in this world in this way? That somebody out there, friend, family, acquaintance, stranger, would describe me as being this kind of person. Am I really aware of how I am? Because at the end of the day, these people, I just checked the time, 22 minutes, 22 seconds. At the end of the day, these people that we hold accountable as these placeholders in these stories we make up about our world, they are merely just reflections of us. And I know some of you are like, well, I didn't go and have a whole new family somewhere and cheat on this marriage and this and that, but you've got to really dig deeply. Sometimes you are carrying vibrational patterns that accord with the vibrational patterns that that person may hold, and maybe they've manifested for that person in a different way, right? Maybe both of you are attracted to each other's inauthenticity and into each other's woundedness, coming from a family that was dysfunctional, who knows what, but it's manifested for you guys in different ways. And so sometimes we think that we are not receiving because of something that somebody else did, but actually there's agency there, and that's what Spirit is asking you to look at. Another thing they just told me with the not receiving, a lot of us are continuing to be in connections that are completely imbalanced. I am as in Mickey, imbalanced, right? And that usually looks like I'm giving so much, this person never gives back, right? Some of us may be just dating people who are chronically emotionally unavailable. Some of us may be actually dating someone who's not even physically in proximity, all sorts of stuff. And so and then you're tired of it. You're like, what about, why do I always get these people? And why do I keep getting people who keep choosing work situations or opportunities over me? For somebody here, I'm seeing a past lifetime here, of course, guys. These past lifetimes are showing us the patterns that are already set in place, for sure. But what Spirit is showing is like, listen, if you're dating somebody who's emotionally unavailable, or you're married to someone like that, or you're choosing to keep company. Some of us keep company as friendships with these people, and then we get to talk about it like, oh my God, my friend is always self-absorbed. She's always talking about herself. He's always talking about himself. He's always talking about his latest conquest, and I never get a word in edgewise. You have to go inward. What about your energy is actually pushing things away? I bet that you're probably one of those people that if someone were to compliment you, you'd be like, no, I'm not really. Or if you're out with somebody, you might start trying to talk, but they somehow talk over you, and this and that, dead giveaway that there's an inner child wounding, that you feel that what you have to say is not good enough. You feel that you have no value. It's low self-worth masquerading as partners who are emotionally unavailable. So again, Spirit is talking about how to transform what it is that we are experiencing in this lifetime. And I do feel that they're talking to you about this in terms of relationships, not all of which are romantic, but it really doesn't matter, right? It's always the same, regardless of the hat that we play. And so, my dear Leos, or whoever you are, the lesson here is that Spirit is saying you must, number one, respect the role of other people in your life, regardless of who they are and for how long you've chatted with them, maybe just 5 seconds, right? But they left an impact, right? You have to respect that they are one thing and one thing only in a large sense. Mirrors, they're reflecting to you. Now, a quick example, if somebody were to tell you, oh my God, you're so beautiful, right? Some of you would say, oh my God, thank you. Look, I don't know. God was good, right? Right? And maybe you might take it to the next level, just going off on that one comment. And then others would be like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. Stop talking about me. Right? And some of you might actually just completely deflect it. No, you're beautiful. Look at you. You're glowing. And that's a deflection. Imagine putting a wall up with a mirror. The energy just comes right back. And some of you would so not believe it because the self-worth is so low, God bless you, that you actually get angry at the person for complimenting you because you think they're lying to you or they're mocking you. And I just heard one of the viewers here saying, oh, I know someone like that. Yes, we all do, right? We all do. My friends like that. And sometimes we just wish people could see in themselves what we see in them, the goodness, the joy that they bring. And imagine us, we struggle to receive that. And so that's an example, Spirit is saying, when you carry a misperception, in this case low self-worth, and how it structures your whole world. Now imagine they're saying getting into relationship, especially romantic relationships, when you are allowing somebody to come deep into your space, more so than random other people would be, even if only for a night, right? That's still allowing. Right? But at the same time, you're not allowing, you're not giving them entry, you're deflecting. Because of what? You have a belief pattern that isn't true. And so this is why we circle back around to this large concept of healing. No matter what you do, you're actively healing all the time, because healing can be defined as a transformation of the self and a view of the self, the transformation of beliefs about the self. And here on earth, how do we have those transformations put in action? Well, we go through events. We experience incidents. We experience third-party situations. We experience foreclosures. We experience flat tires. We experience injuries and accidents. We experience tumult in relationships, lying friends, stealing lawyers, whatever, right? And so this is all designed to give us a boost. And it hurts. Look at the hurt and then work on that, okay? Anywho, so yes, so at this time, again, I do feel that some of you may be going through a process at this time, remember signs, the times are, I mean, the readings are timeless, but at this time, and this information could be very useful for you. Okay, some of you may be going through a sister-in-law situation. Just as I said that, this card always kind of gives me sister-in-law vibes, right? Now I also get the idea that some of you actually, oh, they're also saying rat race. Some of you are, okay, let's talk about that. Some of you are going through something at work. There's a, like, you're caught up. So now here we are. Let's get back down to the physicals, because we were looking at from a higher perspective. We're looking at the dynamics, right? But now let's look at a lower perspective here in the physical. I do feel that some of you may be going through some changes in the workspace that are about that. And I feel that Spirit is trying to interrupt the pattern to kind of say, hey, you're choosing to see this person in the workplace as somebody that doesn't like you, or somebody that is hurting you, or wants to see you fail, or is not respecting you, or doesn't let you talk, or just doesn't care, or is out to get you, whatever that is. And of course, not all of you are having, oh, what's this? What is that card? Ah, there's a card there. Hold on. I want to make sure I get it. Okay, I got it. Oh, falling in love. Right on top of the vulnerability card. We're going to go ahead because I'm talking about that too. Yeah, so for some of you, just as I was saying, it's not about the workplace, obviously. For some of you, it could be about love, right? For some of you, it's about your children, the connections that you have with your children. So, I always said the Lord is saying, so yeah, Spirit is definitely coming through. So we're just going to go ahead, because you guys know I am channeling. If you get triggered by words like the Lord or God or Jesus or just whatever, please do know these are just words, as they say in the, that really refer to real energies, by the way. But if it makes you uncomfortable, you can go ahead and go with what the Tao says in its first line. The Tao that can be expressed is not the real Tao. So in other words, whatever language we use to describe anything in any language at all, it's never going to be the real thing, because we just are not capable of having that awareness at this level. So please avoid any triggers. But the word that's coming through is the Lord is saying. So we're going to go ahead and keep the channel as pure as possible, right? So anyway, yeah, the Lord is saying here that this is a divine process that you're going through. And you have to understand that whether it be in the workplace or in relationships with loved romantic partners, or in relationship with loved ones like children or just whatnot, it's all about using them to look at your patterns. Now here, and I did feel something about a sister-in-law. Now there's someone here with a sister-in-law issue in particular. Now obviously there could be more than one, but depending on how many people watch it. But I kind of want to say that your sister-in-law might be right, whatever it is that you guys are talking about. So please make sure that you do hold that space for a new perspective to come in. Your sister-in-law in this case, I think, may actually be correct. It may be around some family issue. I don't know if it's around a father or a fatherly figure or something, or if it's that you are going off of a mindset set in place and conditioned by your father. But either way, I hate to say it, but she right, whatever it is you're talking about. Okay. All right. So thank you, Spirit, for that message. God bless. Yes, so Spirit is saying, yes, the key to getting through these life events like a boss, right, is to understand that they're just mirrors. Oh, there's actually a key. I actually saw a key here and superimposed, but there's a key. It's the way to get through it is to understand that, okay, what I'm seeing right now, what I'm experiencing, I have a story about it. What is my story? You can write that down. You can say it in the mirror. You can get clear about what the story is. You can use the curse words. You can point the fingers. You can whatever you want. Cry, whatever you need. Because that's the story. That's means something. It's a way of witnessing what our experiences are. And after that, you start to think, well, and invite Spirit in. What can I do to transform this story? Because I know I don't have the full facts. I know it's filtered through my conditioning. So Spirit, in honor of truth and the veracity of what it is that I'm seeing and I'm experiencing, I invite you in to help me to look at the story and to understand it from a different perspective. And from that moment, all sorts of things will happen for you. For example, just using the workplace, because they brought that one up. For example, maybe you're working with somebody named Patty. Cute. Patty. And maybe you don't like Patty because Patty is getting on your last damn nerve and she has no business doing XYZ and she makes you feel a certain way and she steals your thunder and she whatever, or she thinks she's this and that, whatever. And she reminds you of your mother is what I'm getting, right? Something like this, right? Telling you what to do. Now, that's your story. But then you invite your guides, your angels, spirit, God, Lord, whatever it is. You invite that energy, that high frequency. Look it up here, homeland. There it is. And look, her hand even went up like this, just like me. You're high. You ask for the high level understanding, invitation to connect. So from the ground, you reach up and you ask 44. There's the number. Show me what this is about. And guess what happens? The knowledge. You see how it's playing out? You struggle. You go inward, you ask, and then you become aware. What happens here is an energy field adjustment. And so when you do that, what's going to be revealed for you, God bless, is this. Let's go. It says yearning, longing for someone, undesired separation, pining. But what I'm seeing that is literally a card that could represent the hungry ghosts, as we've often heard in some texts, right? The hungry ghosts would refer to those energetic patterns, those frequencies, those discarnate spirits in many ways, attachments that suck you dry, that drain you of your sovereignty and drain you of your worth and your empowerment, right? Now, these things can't suck off of you unless you give it that power, right? And just like people. People won't walk over you if you don't let them. And it's hard. Sometimes the journey it takes to being able to stand up to these bullies and these people is a journey in and of itself, right? But it's the same principle. So here, when you go through this process of releasing the spirit and, first of all, witnessing your own story, telling your story in a safe way and witnessing it, and then releasing it to spirit to come in and shift your perception or to give you a miracle, as A Course in Miracles preaches, says a miracle is just a shift in perception, right? What happens then is that you have this moment. Yeah, they're saying this holy moment, this holy instant where, boom, right? You're just, it's there. The energy field is adjusted. It happens. The perception is righted. And look, maybe that moment may take a little while, God bless, but what happens is you discover what your hungry ghost is. You discover what your wounded inner child is. You discover what your shadow is. You discover, long story short, what it is about you that causes this person to show up in your life in that way. Once you have that awareness, what happens is that you have this potential to transform, to bring balance into your life. And you do that through understanding that we need people not only to help show us who we are, but also to help us heal. We need spirit, that complement, right? And so we need to be vulnerable. And from then, we just understand that what it is that we're lacking from within is this union with self. And so we see this balance here as this union with self. It's a rediscovery of a part of you that was buried or pushed off to the side or lost along the way. So in other words, and in very practical terms, Patty gives you hell in the workplace. You don't like her and you feel like a victim, right? So you tell that story and you invite spirit in through your prayer, through meditation. They're saying through groundwork, so grounding yourself, right? Some of you can ground through your gardening, right? Doing some type of grounding activities, but through body work, through self, and with the invitation, with spirit, right? And what happens is that you go inward and you start to identify and even isolate moments in time where you embodied this hungry ghost. And so that's a way of reconnecting with this wounded part of you. Oh my God, I remember when I was 6 years old and my older sister used to treat me just like Patty did, right? For example. So in that case, you've made a connection at the cognitive level with an aspect of who? Yourself. That you had somehow shuffled over. It was never healed. It was whatever. And through the activities that you then do, which is compassion, loving yourself, speaking faith into yourself, you know what? I'm not some little kid you can just push around. And you know what? I'm older now and I have good ideas and I have wisdom and I'm worth something. I have value and I'm not afraid to share it because it's not about me and it's not about Patty. It's about getting the information out there that I think can have real value and real merit to the workplace and where I am. And it's about saying that I also work at this company and I choose not to spend a large chunk of my waking hours each day in a hostile environment where I don't feel safe and I don't feel valued. So you see what you're doing is you're starting to take your power back, not from Patty, but from that moment when you were 6 or whenever you were, and you're imbuing yourself with power through knowledge of your divinity and of your self-worth. And so doing that, yeah, thanks, Spirit. And so doing that, you reconnect with you, and that's what we see here. But the beautiful thing is that you were allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to even go inside and look at that relationship at work and have that transformation. And what happens is an energetic shift. That's why we have this alchemical mutation. That's why we have this energy field adjustment. Now you can definitely go to people like me. I'm a healer, right? So I do shift energies. I help your higher self and we all work together to shift those energies. But there's a lot of things that you can do to shift it as well from where you are, from your bed or from your car. And guess what happens on an energetic level? The spirit of Patty's going to get that, and she's going to start showing up in different ways at work for you. And not only on her end, but also you're going to see it as a difference. So she can still come with the same way of being to you, but it's no longer a threat to you. It doesn't bother you anymore. And eventually that energetic tie, that toxicity will start to fall away. And I'll tell you what, you may actually end up, they're showing here, you may actually end up becoming friends with Patty at work now because somehow you guys fixed it. And one day you went to work and it was done and she came and she showed up differently. A card needs to be here and I don't know what card it is. Could it be this? Yeah, I think so. Look at these two people at work. So funny. Wait, can you guys see that? Is it still on camera? Okay, yes, it is. Yeah, look at those two people at work. But you know what, for you guys, Leo, I'd like to, oops. Okay, well, there it is. I was gonna say, I'd like to pull some cards for you, okay? You guys are so funny. I don't know, you didn't make a joke, but I laughed anyway. Thanks for the laugh. Wheel of Fortune. Fate. Yeah, so Spirit is coming through here to say now, because now we're just going to pull out of the energy just a little bit, right? Spirit is saying that if you are guided towards this reading, regardless, they said meeting. They're literally so cute. They're saying meeting because we were just talking about work. They're so cute. If you were guided towards this meeting, thank you for coming. But they're saying that the reason why you were guided is chances are you may be encountering some type of issue with somebody in your life. It could very well be in the workplace. It could be with a family member. We see this. It could be a love relationship. You're going to know because you're going to know who this person is or what this person is. And they have outlined for you the fact that the reason why you're having these issues, especially if they're chronic with different people over the same kind of issue, you're always having this issue, it's a lesson. You see how this guy's like pointing? He's like, right? I don't know if you can see. He's pointing. It's a lesson for you, right? Now, they not only told you that, they not only are saying it's a lesson for you, but they're saying that there's value. There's real value to having conflict with other people is what they're saying. And on top of that, they've given you ideas on how to transform that conflict and the way you view it in a way, as a way of transforming yourself. And just to reiterate, you have the issue, you need to tell the story about it. And you need to write it down, you need to stand in front of the mirror, you need to talk to your angels and guides. Guides, we need a mirror meeting right now, all of you, because this and she and you just splay it all out, even if in that story you are completely the victim and you did nothing wrong, you were just minding your business, because that's what you do. Tell the story, and from there you got to open it up. Okay, Or what do you guys think? What do you guys think, angels, guides? Huh? I'll give you guys some time. I don't need an answer right now because I know I'm like all in my feelings. But I'm going to wait for you to give me ideas. And true to form, ideas will come through your dreams. Other people will somehow say something that, you could see has value for this situation. You may just telepathically receive it from them. If you can hear them, they're like, hey, listen, yeah, crazy, whatever your guides would say to you. Maybe not that, but you'll hear it. You're going to get the input from spirit. You maybe just be sitting at the park because you're super sweet. And then you see these cute little ants at a distance, God bless, because we don't want them on us. And you see them just working together, and suddenly that sets in motion some thoughts in your mind. And suddenly you get the answer to what it is that you're dealing with. Whatever it is, you're going to get the input. And then what happens is it's 100% going to lead to an inquiry for the self, an awareness of self, and putting an eye on the self. If you're still looking at the other person and the details of this story, you made a left. No, you probably made a right at Albuquerque. Wherever you are not supposed to go, you went there, because you're supposed to come into yourself. And that inquiry and even further discussion with other people, or even just quiet reflection, will lead you to identifying the pattern within that causes you to stay stuck. Now, as I'm saying that, I'm feeling some of you, your energy's retracting, either because you're turning off the video because you've gotten what you've needed, or because there is a releasing of some stuck energy. But you know what I'm also getting? For some of you here, you've gotten to this realization that, oh, she's not going to tell me what I wanted to hear. And this is not everybody, but for somebody here, what you wanted to hear was me say something, or us, because I'm channeling, but was us say something to you that allowed you to keep this story of someone else being at fault alive. And I'll tell you this, that's coming from the father side of this family, okay? So this is a direct line from the father side of your family, where there's this idea that I can't be wrong. And so let's look at this, because I'm suddenly feeling pushed in or pulled into a past lifetime in Egypt. Or something about this energy is about not accepting the reality of wrongdoing. Now, and I think that's a trigger word. This word wrong is a trigger word that it feels has been in the bloodline for some time. Now, they're using this one person or this energy that I'm picking up on here. They may know who they are. If you didn't click off yet, and you know it's you. But it could be quite a few of you, right? Where there's something to be gleaned here, where there's this idea of, no, I'm not wrong. I can't be wrong. Because if you were to acknowledge that, hey, there's something wrong about the way I'm seeing this, that I think would be a little bit of a breaking point for you. And that's the point you want to get to, okay? So whereas usually you would turn away, you would turn things off if it didn't appeal to the story that you're promoting about it being someone else's fault, whether it's your ex-husband or your cousin or whatever, that's the moment you want to push through now and say, okay, no one's asking me to buy anything, or no one's asking me to make an assessment about my value, because in your mind, your value comes from you being right and you being superior. But if they were to say, your guides were to say, look, we don't need you to make a decision right now. You don't have to buy anything right now, but we do ask that you at least listen to the infomercial, right? If you stay for 2 hours, you get a chance to win a boat. It's one of those things. And so if you really are interested in changing, you will show up for at least the speech, right? And then you'll feel where you're having to push back. And I'll tell you right now, whatever that energy was, it's dissipating now, whatever that energy was for somebody here, at least one person, that's the fear of being wrong. Because if you were wrong, there's a part of you that's that inner wounding right here. That's your hungry ghost. You don't want to be wrong. Because if you were wrong, you have somehow made it mean that you're no good. You're no good for anybody. And that, guess what? If you're no good for anybody, then no one's going to listen to you. You see how that goes full circle? No one's going to listen to me if I'm not right. And so therefore, I'm going to avoid the fact that no one can be right all the time. And instead, I'm going to be always right. And I'm going to make sure people know I'm always right. Because if not, then I have no use. And so you see, this is erroneous thinking. This is a misperception, because your value comes from you just being in existence. You are worthy because you exist. If you weren't worthy, then why would God, make you? Like, what he doing? Right? And so you have to push yourself forward. And even if you tell yourself, which is more of a true statement, I don't know what my worth is, but I know I have worth. But I'm looking forward to Spirit defining what my worth is. Apparently, I might have, whoopsie doodles, been wrong about this, right? Please, God, in the easiest way and the most gentle and kindest way, don't break me across the coals, please, tell me, how was I wrong? Right? And it will happen discreetly. However you need it to happen, it will happen. But Spirit is saying, please take a step towards us and this healing, and let us transform that space for you, because then you can free up yourself to have a completely changed set of mentalities, mindset. Like, what am I saying? Mindset, okay? And the only card that we haven't touched upon here is this one. But look at it. 8 and 2 is 10. And so that is the completion. So once you can work through this cycle like this, look what happens. Then Spirit is like, all right, come on out. You're done. You're done. You did a great job. Let's move on. Right? Because you will have learned this lesson. And this lesson is all about understanding that we are the creators of our experiences here on earth. Okay? And if you disagree, go ahead and look at people who have suffered the most heinous crimes and the most heinous situations, and you will always find among those people, whatever it is you consider to be the most heinous, you will have people who were not able to live with that, and so they may have taken their life. You may have people who are still on earth, but they're not doing well. They're struggling, with the survival, just trying to survive day to day, and maybe addicted to things. And then you will have those who still have their moments, but somehow they try to at least be there for one person in their life, and then somehow you've got those who have completely, like superhuman, right, transformed that situation. Oh, this person's child was murdered by that child, and somehow years go by, God enters in, they enter in, there's a desire from the spirits and souls on all sides to transform, and somehow now the murderer is out of jail, and now they're living with the mother of the child they murdered, and now they go around the country and around the world to give speeches about the power of forgiveness. So my point is that there is always somebody out there modeling a perspective on some event. And whatever the event it is that you've gone through or you've been going through, you owe it to yourself to go out there and look for models of people who are just somehow doing it. And from them, you pull strength, right? You pull resolve, you pull inspiration. So there is a little bit of legwork here. And that is just part of being here on the earthly, on the grid. We on the grid, right? So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. But Spirit is saying, oh yeah, this is the card they want to leave you with. Ugh. While my bones are all cracking. Guys, I don't know. Like, am I getting that old? Come on. Choose wisely. Okay? Choose wisely. I don't want to leave it there. Oh, they want to. Okay, thanks. Choose wisely. Where you point is, oh, that's why they want to leave it there. Okay. I was like, where you point makes all the difference. Look at this. Remember, we're pointing up when we reach up for assistance. We don't reach down. We reach up for assistance. Please, God, light my way. Please show me what to do. Please give me the strength to understand this. And then you allow them to work. You don't just sit there waiting. I need an answer right now. You allow it to come in when your mind is receptive. Okay? Alrighties, thank you guys. You guys are the best. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please do feel free to reach out. Again, I do offer all kinds of readings, from shadow readings, past lifetime readings, surrender readings, soul contracts, coaching, all sorts of stuff. God bless. And if you're interested, feel free to head over to my Etsy page. And go ahead and like this video if you enjoyed it so I can at least get feedback because, you know, I don't know. All right, thanks guys. Bye.